Hello, I am recording now, and I'm going to be reading next my book of Bible stories because I wanted to do that. I'm not religious or anything. I was reading this last year and then I stopped, and then I'm gonna read it again. So pardon me because I'm not, religious or anything like that. Um, this is it's a picture book too, so it's for primarily for kids to, to get indoctrinated into the Bible and church and stuff like that. But this is a so it's all pictures. Every single page is a picture. But I'm not going to be showing you the pictures because that's too much work. And I don't want to do that work. I'm sorry. But you got this picture, which you can probably tell which story this is. Yes, but I will be reading. Um, there are, well, they're all into stories, but there are 115, no, 116 chapters. But that's just basically 116 stories, basically. So I feel like this is going to be an easy read. I probably will get through all of part one today, and maybe part two. Yeah, because, okay, I'm going to just show you what the chapters look like. It's not going to be the best picture in the world. Actually, come on. There you go. So, like, so there's the pictures. I mean, there's the. If you can zoom in on it, I don't know if you can. Maybe I should have just taken a picture of one, but it's just like it says here. I feel like I owe it to you guys to take a better picture. So, this is how it generally looks like. Like this. I got cropped, but you can kind of tell. So yeah, I will be starting that, I guess, now. All right. So let's do that. It's been a while since I recorded last. Well, not a while. Maybe like. Wait, what was the last book I did? Oh yeah, just Ella. That's right. Okay. And this in total has 117 pages, all in total. So it's like a story per page. So it's fairly easy. But I'm still gonna go by chapters. I should go by parts because I feel like that's easier. Yeah, maybe I'll go by parts instead. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll see, we'll see. Alright. Anyway. Let me put on my thonking glasses. Alright. So there's no real author to this. Because it's from the Bible. It's I guess I can just I'll figure it out later when I'm putting this on YouTube. All right. So the prologue, I guess you would say, or I guess the prologue is my book of Bible stories. This is a book of true stories. Well, yeah, I I would think that I would want to think that these are true stories. Who knows if they actually happened? That's just me talking. Um, but fucking the stories are cool. I like them. All right. Anyway, this is a book of true stories. They are taken from the world's greatest book, the Bible. The stories give you a history of the world from when God began to create until right up to our present day. They even tell about what God promises to do in the future. I hope he gets rid of this virus. I hope, but I think humans are going to have to do that themselves. Anyway, this book gives you an idea of what the Bible is all about. It tells about people of the Bible and all the things they did. It shows the grand hope of everlasting life in a paradise earth, that God has given to people. There are 116 stories in the book. These are grouped into 8 parts. A page at the beginning of each part tells briefly what is found in that part. The stories appear in the order that events occurred in history. This helps you to learn when, in relation to other events, things happened in history, which is kind of cool. I like how it's, chronological too. I think that's pretty cool. The stories are told in a simple language. Many of you young children will be able to read them for yourself. Yes, let me say this again. This is a book for young children to get indoctrinated into religion. So, this book will be read in a way that is for children, very small children. So, when I actually read it, I might sound a little condescending, but that's just how the book is. And you will have to forgive the book for that. And maybe for me too, for commenting. Anyway. Your parents will discover that your smaller children will delight to have these stories read to them over and over again. You will find that this book contains so much of interest for young and old alike. Bible citations are given at the end of each story. You are encouraged to read these portions of the Bible on which the stories are based. When you have finished a story, also review the study questions for that story found after story 116 and try to recall the answers. Yes, so there's a study guide on the back of this thing too. I know. I don't particularly like. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna quiz you. I'm not. I'm just reading the stories. I'm not a teacher. Okay, hold on. Let me just get rid of this. I really don't need it right now. It's my lap desk. But yeah, that was the beginning of the prologue, which is just. Yeah, I'm just gonna say the prologue for now. Prologue, and then to part 2. Alright, so we begin with part 1. Part 1 is called the creation to flood. Oh, there we go. So part 1, creation to flood. From where did the heavens and earth come? How did the sun, moon, and stars, as well as the many things on earth, come to be? The Bible gives the true answer when it says that they were created by God. So our books begin with Bible stories about creation. The first creations of God, we learn, were spirit persons, somewhat like himself. They were angels, but the earth was created for people like us. So God made the man and woman named Adam and Eve and put them in a beautiful garden. But they disobeyed God and lost the right to keep living. In all, from Adam's creation until the Great Flood, there were 1660, no, 1656 years. During this time, many bad persons lived. In heaven, there were unseen spirit persons, Satan and his bad angels. On earth, there were Cain and many other bad persons, including some unusually powerful men. But there were also good people on earth: Abel, Enoch. Also, I'm sorry um, if you are religious, my viewers. I'm sorry if I get these names wrong. I will try my best. I think it's Enoch. But there were also good people on earth: Abel, Enoch, and Noah. In part 1, we will read about all these people and events. So, yeah, it gives you like a brief overview. And then this is chapter, I guess, 1. Chapter 1, God begins to make all things. All the good things we have come from God. Hold on. Oh, it's just Messenger. I'm talking about something. Anyway, all the good things we have come from God. He made the sun to give us light by day and the moon and stars so we can have some light at night. And God made the earth for us to live on. But the sun, the moon, the stars, and the earth were not the first things God made. Do you know what was the first? God made persons like himself. We can't see these persons just as we can't see God. In the Bible, these persons are called angels. God made angels to live with himself in heaven. The first angel God made was very special. He was God's first son, and he worked with his father. He helped God to make all other things. He helped God to make the sun, the moon, the stars, and also our earth. What was the earth like then? In the beginning, no one could live on earth. There was nothing but one big ocean of water all over the land. But God wanted people to live on earth, so he began to get things ready for us. What did he do? Well, first, the earth needed light, so God made the light from the sun to shine on the earth. He made it so that there could be both nighttime and daytime. Afterward, God caused land to come up above the water of the ocean. At first, there was nothing on land. It looked like the picture you see here. There were no flowers or trees or animals. There were not even any fish in the oceans. God had a lot more work to do to make the earth really nice for animals and people to live on. So yeah, the earth, the picture is just basically volcanoes and lava, and basically that's it. And don't worry, I'll describe these pictures too, unless I don't have to. Alright, on to the next one. Yeah, chapter 2, I guess. A beautiful garden. Look at the earth here. How pretty everything is. Look at the grass and the trees and the flowers and all the animals. Can you pick out the elephant and the lions? Yes, there's elephants and lions in the picture. They're in a big oasis with a waterfall. It's all green. It looks like a paradise. How did this beautiful garden come to be? Well, let's see how God got the earth ready for us. First, God made green grass to cover the land, and he made all kinds of animals. He made all kinds of he made all kinds of small plants, bushes, and trees. These growing things help to make the earth pretty. But they do more than that. Many of them also give us foods that taste very good. Yes, I can agree with that. God later made fish to swim in the water and birds to fly in the sky. He made dogs and cats and horses, big animals and small animals. What animals live near your home? Shouldn't we be glad that God made all these things for us? Finally, God made one part of the earth that was very Finally, God made one part of the earth a very special place. He called this place the Garden of Eden. It was just perfect. Everything about it was beautiful, and God wanted the whole earth to become just like this pretty garden he had made. But look at the picture again of this garden. But look at the picture of this garden again. Do you see what's missing? Do you see what God saw what that was missing? Let's see. There's a whole bunch of plants and animals in this picture. Chapter 3. The first man and woman. What is different in this picture? Yes, it is the people in it. They are the first man and woman. Who made them? It was God. Do you know his name? It is Jehovah. And the man and woman came to be called Adam and Eve. This is how Jehovah God made Adam. He took some dust from the ground, and with it he formed a perfect body, a man's body. Well, I think the perfect body would be a woman's body. Also, yeah, never mind. Right? Um, then he blew into the man's nose, and Adam came to life. Jehovah God had a job for Adam. He told Adam to name all the different kinds of animals. Adam may have watched the animals for a long time so he could pick out the best names for them all. While Adam was naming the animals, he began to do something. Do you know what it do you know what that was? All the animals had mates. They were papa elephants and mama elephants, and there were papa lions and mama lions. But Adam had no one to be his mate. Well, I think mate's a kind of strong word. I think partner is much better. But Adam had no one to be his mate. Unless you look at it as in a pirate's sense, like his first mate. So Jehovah made Adam fall into a deep sleep, and he took a rib bone from his side. Yar matey. Listening boy number 1 is my matey. Yeah, Jehovah made Adam fall into a deep sleep, and he took a rib bone from his side. Using his rib, Jehovah made a woman for Adam, and she became his wife. Okay. Maybe it's different. I think this might be a Christian version. I'm not sure though. Yeah. I was just getting my sweater on because I was getting cold. Jeez. Well, it gets pretty darn right. if I do say so myself, like, God gets pretty metal. Like, sooner. Like, after Adam and Eve, that's when things just start to go downhill. Also, I tried to whistle, but I couldn't. Anyway. Uh, I know, right? Using his rib, Jehovah made a woman for Adam, and she became his wife. How happy Adam was now, and how happy Eve must have been to be put in such a beautiful garden to live. Now they could have children and live together in happiness. Adam wanted, not Adam, Jehovah wanted Adam and Eve to live forever. He wanted them to make the whole earth as pretty as the Garden of Eden. How happy Adam and Eve must have been when they thought about doing this. Would you have liked to share in making the earth a pretty garden? But the happiness of Adam and Eve did not last. Let's find out why. Um, okay, chapter 4. Why they lost their home. See what's happening now? Adam and Eve are being put out of the beautiful Garden of Eden. Do you know why? And yeah, in the picture, it's Adam and Eve now dressed in like cavemen, like wool, and they're really sad. And then there's two angels guarding like what's supposed to be the Garden of Eden, with like the middle part of it being the tree, and I think that's the tree of knowledge. Okay. Do you know why? It is because they did something very bad, and so Jehovah is punishing them. Do you know the bad thing Adam and Eve did? They did something dog. They did something that God told them not to do. God told them they could eat food with. God told them they could eat food from the trees of the garden, but from one tree God said not to eat, or else they would die. He kept that tree as his own, and we know it is wrong to take something that belongs to someone else, don't we? Well, what happened? One day, when Eve was alone in the garden, a snake spoke to her. Think of that. It told Eve to eat fruit from the tree from which God told them not to eat. Now, when Jehovah made snakes, he did not make them so they could talk. So this can only mean that someone else was making the snake speak. Who was that? It wasn't Adam. So it had to be one of the persons that Jehovah had made long before he made the earth. Those persons are angels, and we cannot see them. This one angel had become very proud. He began thinking that he should be a ruler like God, and he wanted people to obey him instead of obeying Jehovah. He was the angel that made the snake talk. This angel was able to fool Eve. When he told her that she would become like God, if she ate the fruit, she believed it. So she ate, and Adam did too. No, yeah, I think it might be a Jehovah Witness. Because I might have gotten this from my grandma, and the one that doesn't live with me. And so she's a Jehovah Witness. Yeah, I think this might be a Jehovah Witness one. Because it's like full indoctrination, sort of like, hey, they did this wrong. You want to see why? We shouldn't do that. You should obey this book, sort of thing. Um, so she ate it. So she ate, and Adam did too. Adam and Eve disobeyed God, and that is why they lost their beautiful garden home. But someday God will see to it that the whole earth is made as pretty as the Garden of Eden. Later, we will learn how you may share in taking it this way. But now, let's find out what happened to Adam and Eve. Chapter 5. A hard life begins. Outside the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve had many troubles. They had to work hard for their food beautiful fruits. Instead of beautiful fruit trees, they saw lots of thorns and thistles grow around them. This is what happened when Adam and Eve disobeyed God and stopped being his friends. But worse than that, Adam and Eve started to die. Remember, God warned them that they would die if they ate fruit from a certain tree. Well, the very day that they began to die. How foolish they were not to listen to God. Yeah, it definitely sounds like a Jehovah Witness kind of book. Um, the children of Adam and Eve were all born after God put their parents out of the Garden of Eden. This means that the children would have to grow old and die. If only Adam and Eve had obeyed Jehovah, life would have been happy for them and their children. They could have all lived forever in happiness on earth. No one would have no one would have to had yeah, no one would have had yeah, no one would have had to grow old, get sick and die. God wants people to live forever in happiness, and he promises that someday they will. Not only will the whole earth be beautiful, but all the people will be healthy, and everyone on earth will be a good friend with everyone else and with God. But Eve was no longer a friend of God. So when she gave birth to her children, it was not easy for her. She had pain. Being disobedient to Jehovah certainly brought her a lot of sorrow. Don't you agree? Adam and Eve had many sons and daughters. When their first son was born, they named him Cain. They named their second son Abel. What happened to them? Do you know? Well, it said on the prologue or the part 1 from Adam's creation until the great flood there were 1656 years between those times. So, yeah, I think you're right. Okay, let's see what we got. Chapter 6. A good son and a bad one. Look at Cain and Abel now. They have both grown up. Has become a farmer. He grows grains and fruits and vegetables. Abel had become a keeper of sheep. He likes to take care of little lambs. They grow they grow up into big sheep, and so Abel soon has a whole flock of sheep to watch over. One day, Cain and Abel bring a gift to God. Cain brings some food he has grown, and Abel brings the very best sheep he has. Jehovah is pleased with Abel and his gift. Uh, yeah. Yeah, Jehovah is pleased with Abel and his gift, but he is not pleased with Cain and his gift. Do you know why? It is not just that Abel's gift is better than Cain's. It is because Abel is a good man. He loves Jehovah and his brother, but Cain is bad. He does not love his brother. So God tells Cain that he should change his ways, but Cain does not listen. He is very angry because God liked Abel better. So Cain says to Abel, "Let us go over into the field." There, when they are all alone, Cain hits his brother Abel. He hits him so hard that he kills him. Wasn't that a terrible thing for Cain to do? Even though Abel died, God still remembers him. Abel was good, and Jehovah never forgets a person like that. So one day, Jehovah God will bring Abel back to life. At that time, Abel will never have to die. He will be able to live here on earth forever. Won't it be fine to get to know persons like Abel? But God is not pleased with persons like Cain. So after Cain killed his brother, God punished him by sending him far away from the rest of his family. When God went away to live in another part of the earth, he took with him one of his sisters, and she became his wife. Also, if this book is true and all the events that occurred are true, and that part is true, I'm so glad that we live now. Because that's incest, gross. Just gross. Disgusting. Anyway. Yeah. In time, Cain and his wife began to have children. Other sons and daughters of Adam and Eve got married, and they also had children. Soon there were many people on earth. Let's learn about some of them. Okay. Chapter 7. Yeah, I think I'm gonna read one part of it at a time, because I also want to watch Unisonus with you and stuff like that. And this one's only 10 stories, so it should be easy. And I want to make the videos shorter, at least for this book. So chapter 7, A Brave Man. As the number of people began to increase on earth, most of them did bad things like Cain, but one man was different. He is this man named Enoch. Enoch was a brave man. The people all around him were doing very bad things, but Enoch still kept on serving God. Do you know why those people back then did so many bad things? Well, think. Who caused Adam and Eve to disobey God and to eat the fruit that God said they should not eat? Yes, it was a bad angel. The Bible calls him Satan, and he is trying to get everyone to be bad. One day, Jehovah God had Enoch tell the people something they did not want to hear. It was, God is someday going to destroy all the bad people. The people were probably very angry to hear this. They may even have tried to kill Enoch, so Enoch needed to be very brave to tell the people about what God was going to do. God did not let Enoch live a long time among those bad people. Enoch lived only to be 365 years old. Why do we say only 365 years? Why do we say only 365 years? Because men in those days were much stronger than now and lived much longer. Why? Enoch's son, Methuselah, yeah, why Enoch's son Methuselah lived to be 969 years old. Yeah, I don't know what to explain about that part. It's just weird. Anyway. Well, after Enoch died, the people just got worse and worse. The Bible says that everything they thought about was bad all the time, and that the earth became filled with violence. Do you know one of the reasons why there was so much trouble on the earth in those days? It was because Satan had a new way of getting people to do bad things. We will learn about this next. Okay, chapter 8. Yeah, chapter 8. Giants in the earth. If someone were walking towards you and he was as tall as the ceiling in your house, what would you think? that person would be a giant. At one time, there were there really were giants on earth. The Bible shows that their fathers were angels from heaven. How could that be? Remember, the bad angel Satan was busy making trouble. He was even trying to get God's angels to be bad. In time, some of these angels started to listen to Satan. They stopped the work that God had for them to do in heaven, and they came down to earth and made human bodies for themselves. Do you know why? The Bible says that it is because these sons of God saw the pretty women on earth and wanted to live with them. So they came to earth and married these women. The Bible says that this was wrong. This was wrong because God made the angels to live in heaven. When the angels and their wives had babies, these babies were different. At first they may not have looked very different, but they kept growing bigger and bigger, getting stronger and stronger until they became giants. These giants were bad, and because they were so big and strong, they would hurt people. They even try to force everyone to be bad like themselves. Enoch had died, but there was one man on earth now who was good. That man's name was Noah. He always did what God wanted him to do. One day, God told Noah that the time had come for him to destroy all the bad people, but God was going to save Noah, his family, and many of the animals. Let's see how God did this. Alright, chapter 9. Okay. Chapter 9. Noah builds an ark. Noah had a wife and 3 sons. His sons' names were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. It's Japheth. Each one of these sons had a wife. So there were 8 persons in Noah's family. God now had Noah do a strange thing. He told him to build God now had Noah do a strange thing. He told him to build a big ark. This ark was large like a ship, but it looked more like a big long box. And make it 3 stories high, God said, and put rooms in it. The rooms were for Noah and his family and the animals, and the food all of them would need. God told Noah to fix up the ark so that no matter God I cannot talk. Okay, there we go. God also told Noah to fix up the ark so that no water could leak in. God said, I'm going to send a great flood of water and destroy the whole world, and everyone not in the ark will die. Noah and his sons obeyed Jehovah and started building, but the other people just laughed. They kept on being bad. Nobody believed Noah when they told him what God was going to do. It took a long time to build the ark because it was so big. Finally, after many years, it was finished. Now God told Noah to bring the animals into the ark. God said to bring in two of some kinds of animals, both male and female, and of other kinds of animals. God told Noah to bring in but of other kinds of animals, God told Noah to bring in 7. I don't understand the reasoning behind that, but there might be a reason. I don't know what, but also sorry, I'm just like trying to like get comfy. Also, I need to take a sip of water. Okay. God said to bring and two of some kinds of animals, both male and female. But of other kinds of animals, God told Noah to bring in seven. God also told Noah to bring in all the different kinds of birds. Noah did just what God said. Afterward, Noah and his family went into the ark. Then God shut the door. Inside, Noah and his family waited. Just imagine you just imagine you were in the ark with them, waiting. Would there really be a flood as God said? Alright, and the last chapter of this part, chapter 10, the Great Flood. Outside the ark, the people went about their life the same as before. They did not believe that the flood would come. They must have laughed they must have laughed more than ever. But they soon stopped laughing. All of a sudden, water began to fall. It poured down from the sky as when you pour water into a bucket. Noah had been right, but it was too late now for anybody else to get in the ark. The door had been closed tight by Jehovah. Soon all the low ground was covered. The water became like big rivers. It pushed over trees and rolled around big stones and made a lot of noise. The people were afraid. They climbed up to higher ground. Oh, how they wished they had listened to Noah and gotten in the ark when the door was still open for them. But now it was too late. The water kept getting higher and higher. For 40 days and 40 nights, the water poured out of the sky. It rose up the sides of the mountains, and soon even the tallest mountains were covered. So just as God had said, all the people and animals outside the ark died, but everyone inside was safe. Noah and his sons had done a good job building the ark, and the water lifted it up and it floated right on top of the water. Then one day, after the rain stopped falling, the sun began to shine. What a sight it was! There was just one big ocean everywhere, and the one thing that could be seen was the ark floating atop. The giants were now gone. No more would they be around to hurt people. All of them had died, along with their mothers and the rest of the bad people. But what had happened to their fathers? The fathers of the giants were not really humans like us. They were angels that had come down to live as men on earth. So when the flood came, they did not die with the rest of the people. They stopped using the human bodies they made and went back to heaven as angels. But they were no longer allowed to be part of the family of God's angels. So they became the angels of Satan. In the Bible, they are called demons. God now made a wind blow, and the waters of the flood began to go down. 5 months later, the ark came to a rest at the top of a mountain. Many more days passed, and those inside the ark could look out and see the tops of the mountains. The waters kept on going down and down. The waters kept going down and down. Then Noah let a blackbird called a raven out of the ark. It would fly away for a while, and then it would come back, because it could not find a good place to land. It kept doing this, and each time it returned, it would rest on the ark. Noah wanted to see if the waters had run off the earth. So next he sent a dove out of the ark. But the dove came back too. But the dove came back too because it did not find a place to stay. Noah sent it out a second time, and it brought back an olive leaf in its beak. So Noah knew that the waters had gone down. Noah sent out the dove a third time, and finally it had found a dry place to live. God now spoke to Noah. He said, "Go out of the ark, take your whole family and the animals with you." They had been inside the ark for more than a year. So we can just imagine how happy they were all. So we can just imagine how happy they were they all were to be outside again and to be alive. Yeah, I feel that too. Yeah, and that's the end of part 1. Thank you so much for listening. I don't know why I put my sweater on, because now I'm getting like super hot. And I'm like, why did I do this? Is there any reason why I did this other than pure agony? Alright. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.